Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at politics,
Okay.
but not the usual stuff, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to be talking about the talking heads. We're not going to be talking about, sound bites and all that.
Hmm.
We're going a little deeper, and we're going to be talking about how social media is changing the game.
Absolutely.
And you know what that means for all of us.
Yeah, it's a huge shift, and it's not just about, posting your opinions online anymore. It's about reshaping how we engage with the entire political system.
Exactly, and we're going to get into all that juicy stuff today.
Yeah.
We're looking at a proposal, actually, for a podcast series called Politics in the Digital Age: How Social Media Outpaces TV in Elections.
Catchy title.
It is a catchy title, and it's packed with insights.
Yeah.
But how this is changing everything from, the way that campaigns are run to the way that people vote.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to extract the best parts of that for you today.
I think one of the most interesting things is this move away from the classic TV-dominated campaigns. Right.
Social media is the new battleground.
It's the new battleground. It's where everything is happening.
So what makes social media so potent for political campaigns specifically?
Well, think about it like this. In the past, a candidate might spend millions of dollars on a primetime TV ad just hoping to reach as many people as possible.
Right.
But with social media, you can target very specific groups of voters.
With laser focus.
Exactly. And this document highlights how one candidate actually reached more voters with a targeted Facebook ad campaign than an entire week of primetime TV ads.
Really?
And for a fraction of the cost.
Wow.
It's remarkable.
So it's not just about reaching more people, it's about reaching the right people.
Absolutely. And it's not even just about cost effectiveness.
Okay.
Social media allows for a level of engagement that TV just can't match.
Okay.
I mean, think about your own social media feed.
It's probably filled with political stuff right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's full of political discussions, articles, memes, videos, all sorts of content generated by users.
Right. TV, you just kind of watch it.
Yeah, it's very passive.
Right.
Social media encourages active participation.
Right.
Users can share their opinions, engage in debates, even create their own content that influences others.
Right. So it's not just about, the candidates broadcasting out.
Exactly.
They're trying to get conversations going.
It creates this ripple effect. It amplifies their message far beyond what traditional media can achieve.
Right. And so this brings up the role of social media influencers.
Yes.
Which is,
a fascinating development.
yeah. How is that changing things?
Well, we're not just talking about celebrities endorsing candidates anymore. It's about the micro-influencers you follow for maybe fashion or travel tips.
Right.
They might also be sharing their political views.
Oh, so they're kind of sneaking it in there?
They might be endorsing candidates,
Right.
and because they've built trust and credibility with their audience, their opinions can carry a lot of weight.
So even the, food blogger I follow
Mm-hmm.
might be influencing my political views
Exactly.
without me even knowing it.
It can be very subtle,
That's amazing.
but very powerful.
So how are political parties using this?
They're catching on quickly. They're using influencer marketing strategies
Okay.
to reach very specific demographics to amplify their message.
Okay.
They partner with influencers who align with their values
Makes sense.
and who have a strong following in their target audience. It adds a layer of authenticity.
Yeah, because you're more likely to listen to somebody that you already follow.
Exactly. Traditional advertising just can't replicate that.
It's like word of mouth, but, on steroids.
Exactly. But the document goes even further
Oh,
into the realm of using social media data to forecast election outcomes.
What? So they're using our tweets and posts to figure out who's going to win.
It might sound like science fiction, but it's happening right now.
That's wild.
Researchers and campaigns are analyzing the volume and the tone of online conversations.
Okay.
They're identifying trending topics,
Mhm.
gauging public sentiment to get a read on the electorate.
So it's like having a real-time pulse on the voters.
That's a great way to put it.
Wow.
By analyzing millions of online interactions, they can identify emerging trends and even predict potential shifts in public opinion.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All this online influence
Yeah,
makes you think about the potential downsides.
absolutely. For all its benefits, social media also presents some significant challenges when it comes to politics.
Like what?
Well, one of the biggest concerns is the spread of misinformation.
Okay.
Social media platforms can quickly become breeding grounds for fake news propaganda, misleading content.
Yeah.
And that stuff can go viral in an instant.
And we've all seen how quickly a fake news story can spread.
Yes.
And it can really influence people's opinions, especially during an election.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this problem is often compounded by what we call echo chambers.
Echo chambers.
Social media algorithms tend to personalize our feeds
Right.
based on our existing beliefs,
Right.
which can create these online bubbles where we're only exposed to information that reinforces our existing views.
You end up surrounded by people that already agree with you.
Yeah. Exactly. And you rarely see opposing viewpoints.
So how does that impact the political landscape?
Well, this lack of exposure to different perspectives can lead to increased polarization,
Polarization.
where people become more entrenched in their beliefs and less willing to engage in dialogue with those who hold different views.
It's almost like we're all living in different realities.
That's a great analogy. And this increasing polarization can have a real detrimental effect on political discourse, making it harder to find solutions.
Right, because if you can't even agree on what the problems are,
Exactly.
how can you even begin to solve them?
Exactly. So it seems like social media can amplify existing divisions and make it even harder to find common ground.
Yeah. It's a powerful tool,
It is.
but it can be used for both good and bad.
Precisely. And that's why it's so important to be aware of these challenges and to think critically about the information we see online.
So it's really about, being responsible.
It is. We need to be vigilant about fact-checking,
Yeah.
seeking out diverse perspectives, and engaging in respectful dialogue even when we disagree.
Because the stakes are high.
They are.
It's not just changing how we engage in politics. It's changing the nature of democracy itself.
Absolutely.
And that's something that we'll be exploring in much more detail as we continue our deep dive today. But first, let's take a quick break.
Sounds good. Welcome back. It's worth remembering that social media's impact on elections isn't just about these big global events we've been talking about.
Right.
It's also influencing things in quieter ways, but perhaps even more pervasive ways.
Okay, what do you mean by quieter?
Think about the rise of these hyper-local social media groups.
Hyperlook.
They're focused on very specific local elections or even single-issue campaigns.
Okay.
These groups can be incredibly effective at rallying voters around very specific concerns that might not even make the national news, like advocating for a new school in their district or opposing a development project.
So it's kind of like grassroots activism is going digital.
Exactly. People are finding like-minded people online, and they're working together to make their voices heard at a very local level.
Right. And these local elections can really be decided by just a handful of votes.
Absolutely. A small number of votes can make all the difference, but it's not just about mobilizing voters around specific issues.
Okay.
Social media also plays a huge role in shaping the broader political narrative.
Okay, beyond just spreading information.
It's about framing the conversation how people perceive events.
Okay.
Think about the speed at which news and information spreads online.
Right.
A single tweet, a viral video, can instantly shape public opinion about a candidate, a policy, or even an entire election.
That's like this race to control the narrative.
Exactly. You want to set the agenda for what people are talking about.
Right, and how they interpret events.
Precisely.
Right.
And that's where social media's ability to amplify certain voices and perspectives becomes so important.
Right, so whoever is most skilled at using these platforms.
They can really steer the conversation and influence how the public perceives things.
So it's this constant battle for attention.
It is.
For influence online.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important for all of us to be discerning consumers of information.
Right.
We have to think critically about the sources we see,
Yeah.
evaluate the potential biases,
Mm-hmm.
and actively seek out diverse perspectives.
Almost develop our own internal filters.
Exactly.
To weed out all this noise.
Exactly. Information literacy is so important.
In the age of social media.
More than ever. But let's shift gears for a second.
Okay.
We've talked about how social media is changing campaigns, voter behavior, even political narratives.
Right.
But what about the future?
Right. What's next?
What might this digital revolution hold in the future?
Well, luckily, this document gives us some insight into what the future of political campaigning might look like in this digital era.
Okay.
And it's pretty mind-blowing.
I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
So the document points to several emerging technologies that could completely revolutionize how we engage with politics.
Such as?
And one of the most interesting is the rise of AI-driven content.
Okay. We touched on this briefly before, but let's go a little deeper.
Yeah.
What exactly is AI-driven content, and how could it change political campaigns?
Imagine a world where political messages are crafted specifically for you,
Okay.
based on your online activity, your interests,
Oh, wow.
your demographics, even your personality type.
That's hyper-personalized.
It is. That's the potential of AI-driven content.
It's like having a personal political consultant whispering in your ear,
Exactly.
tailoring their message just for you.
Exactly.
That is both fascinating and a little creepy.
It is. AI algorithms can analyze massive amounts of data about voters
Right.
to create these highly targeted messages.
So they're designed to be more persuasive,
Yeah.
more influential,
But how much do we really want our online behavior
right?
to dictate the political messages that we receive?
That's a great point.
Where's the line between personalization and manipulation?
Those are very valid concerns. And as AI becomes more sophisticated,
Right.
we're going to have to think carefully about the ethical implications
Right.
and how we ensure its responsible use in political campaigns.
Right. We've got to stay ahead of the curve with this technology.
Absolutely.
Anticipate the potential consequences
Mm-hmm.
and establish safeguards to prevent misuse. But AI isn't the only game changer on the horizon.
What else is there?
This document also explores augmented reality in political campaigns.
Augmented reality. So like Pokemon Go, but for politics.
Kind of, but imagine attending virtual rallies
Okay.
where you can interact with the candidates
Right.
and other supporters,
It's all from home.
all from home,
That's pretty amazing.
in a 3D environment or picture, using your smartphone to scan a campaign poster
Okay.
and instantly get information about that candidate's platform.
So it really brings the campaign trail to life
It does.
in a whole new way.
More immersive,
More interactive.
potentially even more entertaining.
Exactly. And it's not just about reaching voters. Augmented reality could also be used to enhance political debates,
How so?
create interactive voter guides,
Okay.
and even provide real-time information about polling places and election results.
Wow. So it really has the potential to make the voting process more user-friendly.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
Okay.
So we've got AI, we've got augmented reality. What else?
Well, the document also talks about the rise of decentralized platforms in politics.
Decentralized platforms. What does that mean?
Think about blockchain technology
Okay.
and platforms like Mastodon, where users have more control over their data
Right.
and the algorithms that shape their online experience.
So it's about taking control back from the big tech companies.
In a way, yes, decentralized platforms could give voters more direct access to candidates,
Yeah.
allow them to access unfiltered information, and participate in political discussions without the influence of algorithms or corporate interests.
It sounds empowering.
It is.
But is it realistic? I mean, can these platforms really compete with the giants that control social media right now?
It's hard to say. It's still early days,
Okay.
but the potential is definitely there.
Okay.
As people become more concerned about privacy, censorship, algorithmic bias, they're going to start looking for alternatives to the mainstream platforms.
It's a classic David and Goliath scenario.
It is.
And it will be interesting to see how it plays out.
Absolutely. It's important to remember that technology is always evolving.
Right. Well,
What seems impossible today could be commonplace tomorrow.
all of this is mind-boggling.
It is.
It's like we're watching this massive shift in how we engage with politics.
Here we are.
And it's impossible to know where it's all going to lead.
We are in uncharted territory. The future of political campaigning is going to be shaped by so many factors.
Like what?
Rapid technological advancements,
Yeah.
evolving voter expectations, and a constant need to adapt and innovate.
It's like we're all playing a giant game of chess.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
And the rules are constantly changing.
Exactly. So we've got to be adaptable.
We do. We need to be informed. We need to be engaged. And we have to be adaptable.
This has been an incredible journey so far.
It has.
Exploring, the rise of social media influencers, AI decentralized platforms.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. It's clear that social media has completely changed how we engage with politics.
It really has. And the journey isn't over yet.
No, it's not.
And as we move toward the final part of our deep dive, it's important to acknowledge that this revolution isn't without its dark side.
You're right. We can't ignore the potential downsides of all this digital influence. But for that conversation, we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to our deep dive. It feels like we've gone down the rabbit hole here.
We have.
Into this world of social media and politics and how it's all connected.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
It is a lot to unpack, but as we come to the end of our deep dive today, what are some of the key takeaways?
Well, one of the things that's really striking me is just how pervasive social media's influence has become. I mean, it's not just about, catchy slogans and viral videos anymore. It's about, shaping narratives, targeting voters, using these complex algorithms to, Analyze trends.
and even manipulate.
Potentially manipulate, yeah.
It's like social media has become this invisible hand
Mm-hmm.
guiding, the political process,
Yeah,
influencing our perceptions,
absolutely.
shaping decisions in ways that we can't even fully grasp.
It's really powerful. And that's why it's so important to be aware of the downsides.
Yeah.
The echo chambers,
Right.
the biases,
Goodness information.
the spread of misinformation. Yes, we need to be much more critical of
Right.
the information that we're consuming online.
So it's almost like we need to be digital detectives,
Yes,
constantly, evaluating the credibility of sources,
absolutely.
questioning, is this real?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this just a carefully constructed narrative
To sway us.
yeah, to sway our
And
opinion?
exactly. That critical thinking is essential.
But it's not just about, individual responsibility.
Right.
We also need to hold the social media companies accountable.
Absolutely. They have a responsibility
Right.
to address these issues on their platforms.
So it's a two-way street.
It is.
Users need to be informed and discerning,
Mm-hmm.
and the platforms need to take responsibility
Yes.
for, the content, the algorithms,
Exactly.
all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it brings us back to that fundamental question.
Yeah.
What is the impact of all of this on democracy itself?
It's the million-dollar question, and there is no easy answer.
No.
And on the one hand, social media has this potential to be a powerful force
Good.
for democratic engagement,
Right.
allowing citizens to connect,
Yeah.
to organize, to hold their leaders accountable.
Right.
But on the other hand, we've also seen how it can be weaponized
Right.
to spread propaganda,
Information.
misinformation, to manipulate voters,
Yeah.
to erode trust in institutions.
That's like we're walking a tightrope,
We are.
trying to balance the potential benefits
Mm-hmm.
with the very real threats.
Exactly. And navigating this landscape requires vigilance,
Mm-hmm.
thoughtful regulation,
Right.
and a real commitment to fostering media literacy,
Right.
critical thinking skills
Oh, yeah.
among citizens.
That we need to be aware of the potential dangers, but also harness the power of social media for good.
Precisely. It's a delicate balance,
It is.
but it's essential for the future of democracy.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And so as we move forward, it's important to remember
Yeah,
that social media is ultimately a tool,
it is.
and its impact on democracy really depends on how we choose to use it.
It does.
So it's up to us
Yeah.
to shape the future
To be responsible.
of social media and, what role it will play in our democracy.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been quite a journey,
It has.
exploring the rise of social media in politics,
Mhm.
all the potential benefits and risks,
Yeah.
the profound impact it's having on, democracies around the world.
It's been a fascinating deep dive, and I hope you'll continue to engage with these issues.
Yes.
Think critically about the information you're seeing online and use your voice
Mm-hmm.
to help shape the future of this digital landscape.
Because the future of democracy really is being written in the digital world,
It is.
and each of us has a role to play
We do.
in making sure that it's a future that we can all be proud of.
Absolutely.
This is The Deep Dive signing off.